Holiday 101 is presented by Coast 360 Federal Credit Union.
Don't break the bank to have a Merry Christmas. Stephen Pangilinan and Andrew Borja with Coast 360 tell us how to make that a reality.
Every time around the holidays, when it comes to thinking about your budget, it can't always be too simple, I imagine.
Well, it can be simple because it's as easy as just a pen and paper.
Okay.
All you have to do is just write down the money that you receive, as well as what you plan to spend out, correct? And so it's pretty much like what we call a cash flow analysis or a budget plan. So if you do spend more, or if your expenses are more than the income you receive, then we're kind of in a very, very difficult situation. What we want to do is either balance the budget or at least have more income coming in than the expenses going out.
When we get gifts for the family, we sometimes do go overboard. So having a budget plan ahead of time, how much you want to spend for your family members, knowing how much you're going to spend ahead of time will help you plan for the holidays, because you don't really want to compromise, your expenses.
So avoid compromising your spending.
Have a routine. No different when you have a hair routine, a job routine, anything we do, a coffee routine. Have a routine, and so not to go overboard, it has to start with savings, right? Meaning we can't just get into the holiday and just start spending right away, correct? You have to build at least a nest egg or some cash flow so you can spend. And so not to go overboard, again, stick to the budget. Like what Andrew just mentioned, just the same. Have a list and keep to the budget.
Set aside cash specifically for certain events, like set aside cash for gifts, set aside cash for events and family gatherings will help you really plan for the holiday season.
You can come over to Coast 360, I'm sure, and open a savings account if you want to get started there too, huh?
Yes, and if you're talking about savings account, we do have a Christmas Club account.
Also, you'll want to read the fine print for those purchases.
A lot of the times, especially here on Guam, we order things from online, and sometimes when we order these things online, there are some shipping fees that we don't necessarily take into consideration when we first order. So looking for the websites that do offer free shipping, especially to Guam, will probably help when it comes to budgeting for the holiday season. When it comes to taxes, especially if you're ordering in the States, we don't have state tax here. Or in the States, if you ordered online, you could be charged for additional taxes depending on where you get it. So set aside a little bit of money just for that when it comes to ordering, especially if you're ordering online. That will help you, get a little bit of an idea of how much you're actually spending versus what you set aside for gifts.
And see how you can get the best bang for your buck.
Cut down the cost is more of just finding a good deal, right? And so there are stores that offer coupons, even for websites. They have Ebates, as well as you can compare and prices as well as the reviews for all the products that they are selling. So you can at least make an informative decision as well. But in terms of not breaking the budget and still, making everybody happy, again, it's not necessarily the amount that you spend, but the heart or what you put into the gift. So it could be a personalized gift and not necessarily a purchase gift.
Balancing out how much you divvy is also another way to keep your spending from getting out of hand.
You can cut in different areas when you're living, especially like things like power. We want to put up the Christmas tree, we want to put up Christmas lights, and make sure to turn off the lights before you go to bed, so that way you don't have an absorbent power bill. Cut down on, the family gatherings. Sometimes we get a little bit lazy. We don't want to go out. We don't want to cook in, and we want to go out to eat. Sometimes, taking the time to put some effort, put some love and care into the food that you cook for your family will help reduce your expenses for the holidays by saving money on going out to eat.
And one such savings tip is also your groceries. Notice that sometimes when we go to the store, we want to buy everything because it all looks yummy and good. But many times we have already the same stuff that's already sitting in our refrigerator or cabinets. And so many times our budget is actually affected by one particular component, which would be the food bill. But that can be controlled easily by making some different lifestyle choices as well. And even if not lifestyle choices, economic choices to at least budget and not necessarily go after the steak. You could do some tuna casserole once in a while. and just to save some money that way, so it doesn't break the budget, as well as continued savings for the holidays.
And in case you were wondering,
An important question for a lot of the shoppers out there, whether they're manungku or they just got out of high school, better to shop using cash or credit cards? We'll start with these two.
Well, if you're gonna start with me, I'm gonna talk about my mom. She uses not the envelope method, but the grab snack bag, plastic bags from Ziploc. And so she puts in those dollar bills in there, and she allocates it actually for certain expenses, whether it be for, her purchases for medication, whether it be for purchases for any items, or even for gifting for her grandchildren. And so she just itemizes a little bit at a time from, her source of income, and she allocates it throughout the whole year. Like I said, everything is becoming a routine. It's best that it becomes a routine and not forced, because when it becomes a routine, it becomes a habit. And so using cash would be best, just the same, as because you don't overspend what you actually saved up for.
Every penny counts.
Yes. And my mom is very tight. She wants to see in the Ziploc bag, if there's a change, there better be coins in that Ziploc bag.
Okay. Andrew, cash is your preference as well, or credit card?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's a good mixture. I really agree with Steven when it comes to budgeting. Having cash set aside is key. You don't. It prevents you from overspending. So if you have a certain amount of cash set aside, that's all you're gonna spend. When it comes to credit cards, it's very, very easy to overspend when it comes to just swiping your card and purchasing things for the holiday season. But it is a good tool to use when it comes to things like unexpected expenses. Emergencies do happen. Let's say you're out shopping and the car breaks down. You want to have an emergency method of paying for any unanticipated expenses, so that way you kind of defer the payments for later on, giving you more cash for the holidays.
Holiday 101 is presented by Coast 360 Federal Credit Union.